Good morning, everybody. Someone's been playing with my microphone, so I'll just change that back. My name's Steve Michelle. I'd like to extend a very warm welcome on a very wet day for your consideration of the beautiful property here at Limeworks Loop Road into Pāhu. Our marketing agents, Stuart and Sharon on my right-hand side, have assisted you in getting you this far into the auction process, and of course I'm here to finalise the value for you, and if that meets our owners' expectations, we're putting a sold sticker on with, I guess, Sharon taking a photo of you with an umbrella in the rain. So good luck to you in your endeavours. I'm assisted by Mark Dorr. Mark Dorr is at the back of the room there. He's our country general manager. In the event that bidding doesn't reach the reserve price, I'm going to simply put a pause on the auction. We're going to give the highest bid an opportunity, because you're in a cash position, to treat with our owners at their reserve price. If we go over the reserve price, of course, I'll announce I'm selling the property, be very clear on that. Of course, to be a cash unconditional bidder, you need to have satisfied yourself as to the contract in which you bid on. The property is suitable to your needs, due diligence undertaken regarding council files or building inspections and so forth, all done before today. Finance will need to be in order. We call for a 10% deposit. That is part payment of the purchase price. And of course, with regards to settlement for the property, that's set down as 45 days from today's date. I'll remind you too, in the documentation, you're bidding on an inclusive GST basis, so what you bid is what you pay. And then finally, you do have obligations under the Overseas Investment Act. In order to bid, you need to be a New Zealand resident or citizen, an Australian or a Singaporean of the same. Otherwise, you need a consent, and of course we can't grant those here. They need to be done once contracts are formed. With regards to your conduct of auction, that's in clause 1 and 2 of the documentation. I offer you the property subject to a reserve price, and subject to the reserve price being reached, the highest bidder therefrom will be declared the purchaser. In the event of a disputed bid, I'll sort of put the property back at the last undisputed bid. And as an auctioneer, I can refuse bids, but I can also place bids. So placing bids are known as vendor bids. There's no limit to the number of vendor bids, but the requirements are that I'm the only party that can declare a vendor bid, and they must be clearly stated to you. Of course, we do have an online audience too, and I welcome them in the camera. No online bidders can participate through the keyboards, and I don't have telephone bidding registration, so all of the bidding will come through the room here today. Successful purchases, we do need you to sign the document at the fall of the hammer, so we'll do that in one of these adjacent rooms here afterwards. There's a consent to enter an agreement, and so on and so forth with regards to the documentation, as well as making arrangements for the deposit. Now, are there any questions with regard to the conduct of auction before I move to the property? No, well, let's do that, thank you. And Amy is here to control the slideshow. She'll put the bids up on the right-hand side of the screen if English is a second language for you, or you just prefer a visual reference. Well, beautiful property, as you can see in the lifestyle. They're good old-fashioned 10-acre block, isn't it? The old almost 4 even, so it's 4.0009 hectares of land. It is legally known as Lot 2. The deposited plan number is 21458, and a slip of title being Volume 19D, Folio 474. Your channels list is explained to you in the further terms, so I won't read those out in full to you. They're covered off in the documentation there for you with the attached schedules 2 and 3. Do note that there are some operational and some non-operational channels there. With regards to vacant possession, as I said earlier, 45 days for you. So it's nice and tranquil. I think the serial shots we have these days, they explain the picture for you. You've got a wonderfully centrally located home. You've got a beautiful mature setting, and you're off the grid as such. You're 27 kilometres from Hamilton here, and it's the easiest commute coming in from the west hand side of our city. 3 bedrooms is your accommodation for your family on the home there. You've got a beautiful open plan living aspect that spills onto the massive deck there, and you can see how that just comes through those picture windows there, complemented by the single bathroom, and you do have the double garage for the cars, plus the workshop. You've got the improvements too with the American style barn, and if you're looking at growing your own, you've got a greenhouse there, growing your own vegetables, with an opportunity there to be self-sufficient. So back to that slide there, Amy. Of course, we picked up the wood burner to keep you warm. Short drive down to the village for the preschool and primary school. You've got the hall there, and as I said, back into town here. If this is where you're working, don't forget lots of recreational aspects to the location with the Pirongia Forest Park, and you've got the I'm going to say the Kaniwaniwa stream full of brown trout. So I haven't seen any of them, but Stuart assures me that they are there. Right, well, it's your chance to cast your flies in the river, folks, and who's going to call the opening bidder offer here? It's lot 1 today. Our attention is all yours. Who'd like to call the first bid? And it can't be that phone. You would like to place a bid, of course, if you are the only cash buyer, if no one's bidding, you're going to have the first opportunity, but you need to bid if you want to be in the box seat. Who'd like to start? Waiting for me perhaps, so I'll start with a guide. It won't be under 7, so I'll start at $700,000. We'll take a 25 rise from the word go. The 700,000 bidders with me, you need to bid. Otherwise you're going to be competing in a non-transparent way and then Mark gets all the letters. Add $700,000 there and who bid me 725. You're up to talk to the owners at the level, otherwise we'll set it aside. Good, strong, conditional interest in the property. Add $700,000 there, it's the second call. It's going to be your last chance soon. You need to bid up if you want to buy. Add $700,000 there, last chance. All done. That's 7, need to be in advance at the level here. Place a bid, happy to talk to you. That's $700,000 there, the last opportunity. If I set it aside, we'll deal with all parties. Conditional or otherwise. You know, waiting for the market to fall, need to read the media. Obviously in Waipa and Piako and Hamilton, all the average prices were the highest and set records for May. Any bid coming? Otherwise I'll close it down. We'll take your silence as my instructions. We'll set the property aside. Of course, you're in the Sharon are here, so if you want to make an offer, you can do on a conditional basis if you prefer. If it becomes a multi-offer, of course, you'll be asked to sign forms with respect to that. Well, I'm just going to take a short break now. We've got our commercial auctions at 12 o'clock, about an hour away here. So those of you that have come for those, I'll go back through the rules. If you have any questions with regard to auction, I'm happy to track with you on those before then too. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your morning.